referring to the bedroom as, quote, where the magic happens.
Oh, no barrel, no barrel. Any any euphemism uh for the bedroom is a no barrel. Like you just can't do it because if you're anybody who's making the euphemism is married, right? No,
I
no,
hope so. I mean, I hope they're not dating and that's how they're referring to it when the
no,
girl comes over for the first time.
no single person like you go to the single person's house and this is my living room, this is my kitchen, this is where the magic happens, right? Only married people say that. Nobody needs to think about the magic in marriage, right? It's important to keep that magic. It's important to make that magic. Addressing that magic actively kills that magic. It is like, this is my Chad Smith hates marriage. Here you go. This is my gift to you. If you want to kill the sexy part of your marriage, address it in crazily unsexy ways.
Totally agree. I'm going to go a step further and say if you do refer to it as where the magic happens, it is not, in fact, where the magic happens. I would argue you are making zero magic. Even when engaging in the act, it is not magical. You cannot perform it in a magical way because you're using that euphemism.
Exactly.
So I have a feeling that for those who have figured out how to make magic in that space, they keep that a secret.
It's all hush hush.
It's between them and their loved one, not partner.
Exactly.
Good. Well, let's put that to rest because anytime, look, I haven't toured a lot of bedrooms in my life, but anytime I see it on TV and there's a tour of the bedroom, almost 10 times out of 10, that is what they say.
Yeah, it's a
So give it
very
up.
bad.
It's played out. Okay, barrel or not, trucker hats. I need some clarity, especially from Chaz. I wear a trucker hat to the beach or around town to protect my dome from the sun. And if I haven't buzzed my head in a while and I want to cover it up over the overgrown, barren wasteland that is my genetically disowned hair growing ability. When I say trucker hat, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the 2007 Ashton Kutcher type hats. I'm talking about the brand ones from like Patagonia or North Face or Surf Brands or whatever. I wouldn't wear one to a restaurant, formal event, or anything other than casually around town or beach type stuff. But I'm even 50-50 on these branded ones when I pop one on. Um, but I've never stopped to consider, are trucker hats actually dead? Am I an old millennial not realizing that Blink 182 is considered classic rock now? Should I finally stop wearing my baggy cargo shorts and Limp Bizkit t-shirt? Just kidding, that last one's a joke. So are trucker hats still acceptable in some situations, or do they need to be laid to rest? And if so, what's the new acceptable hat and etiquette? I'd like to remain anonymous. Thanks.
Okay, here we go. This is easy, and I got you. Calling it a trucker hat is unchill. It's just a hat, right? Like the mesh back foam front. We all know what a trucker hat is, right? But the moniker trucker hat, I think, makes you or dates you as coming from the era when people referred to them as trucker hats. They're just hats now. They're like, there's all kinds of hats that have that, you have different kinds of hats. And we're talking specifically about baseball hats here, of course, right? Let's talk about baseball hats or caps or whatever we want to call them. But there's the 5 panel type, there's the unstructured type. There's your classic, whatever, whoever makes the actual MLB, can't remember, New Era. There's the New Era, like proper fitted baseball cap with the baseball team on it. And then there is the mesh varietal. Let's just not call those trucker hats anymore. And it is totally acceptable. That is just another version of a baseball hat.
And you're not disavowing it?
No, no, it's totally fine. There's no 90s vibe with that kind of hat. Like that hat has existed now for decades. Just fine. And there's different versions of it. I think
Yeah, yeah.
there is the Von Dutch version, right? The version of that hat that's really trying to throw back to 90s, 2000s style. But the vast majority of those hats are just happen to have like the whatever, the meshy part back here and the foamy part or whatever up
Yes,
front.
it is a foam. It's the cheapest version of a hat, I think, is the one that he's referring to when he says the Ashton Kutcher style hats, which
Sure.
is, like you said, mesh in the back, foam in the front, a little bit of structure to it, but not as much structure as the multi-panel thing that you're talking about. Which I was going to say nah to those entirely, but as you talk through it, I'm realizing my nah is more associated with the design of that hat. Like, what brand is branding it? What
But
color is the hat? That sort
but
of thing is where it becomes offensive.
that hat though really works on some people's heads. Like it does
True.
not work on my head. Like to me, the question that you should be asking with the hat is what hat, we all have different shaped heads. I'm wearing a hat right now. I forgot to bring a hat. I forgot, you know what's trouble? When you come to Maui and you forget to get a haircut before you came, and then I'm stuck now. I am stuck in Europe slash Maui for I'm still here for another month almost. I've been here for a month. I'm here for another a long time, forever, as far as anyone is concerned. I did not get a haircut before. Now, what do you do? Do I amble into a foreign barber
Yeah.
and try to explain what I'm going for here? Uh, I just like it's funny wife said that when we were in Paris, wife said, "Are you kidding me? You think that the person who cuts your hair back home is better than a Parisian barber?" But I look at like the weirdo barbers down the street. I'm like, "What do you? Yeah, like she knows my hair. She knows how to like." I know for a fact I will go into one of these places and come out looking like a weird freak. It'll be so uncool. And so then I am stuck, I'm just gonna throw a hat on. My hat just blew off I'm wearing the wife's hat now because my hat today blew off on a roller coaster. Uh, but
They have roller
but
coasters in Maui?
they do. They got all kinds of stuff in Maui. But the anyway, I wish that I could wear that kind of hat, that easy to find, cheap on every street corner kind of, we will call them trucker hats, I suppose, because it's the easiest parlance. Uh, it doesn't work for my head. That's the number one thing. If that works for your head, have at it. If you're like forcing it, then don't. Like, but the hat that works for your head is the hat that works for your head. Embrace that hat.
Well, to listeners' point or question, there was a moment where the trucker hat got so obnoxious that it almost got canceled altogether.
Almost
But
did.
yeah, really almost did. But through a collective movement from all the other styles of baseball hats, they wrenched it back into our good graces. I think he's totally fine, especially like he's saying the Patagonia version of that hat
Exactly.
is totally, totally fine. You are welcome to wear that in your casual environment, and it is not an affront.
And he's exactly right also though that you do not wear it to find dinner. You don't pair no hat. No hat at all. Like
Yeah.
if you're pairing a
Yeah.
fedora
Yeah.
with your
Yeah.
suit, then you're going way too far. But
Correct.
like, yeah, no hat goes in, hey, I wish we lived in the time when men wore hats, right? I look at pictures of the 1940s and think, wouldn't that be cool? That's not our time.
I joke, I make the joke fairly regularly, and it gets a laugh from Lauren every time uh, about committing to a hat lifestyle. I'll do it the joke comes in different ways. Like I'll be scrolling Instagram and there'll be an advertisement for like, some hipster full brim, like
Yeah.
whatever. And I'll, in complete earnestness, just glance over at her and be like, hey, like, what do you think? Should I get this one in brown or black? You know? And then she'll look at me just for a split second, like, who do you think you are? You know? But
Imagine the hat lifestyle. Those dudes in the 40s, cowboys, like I guess truckers, uh, they never ever had to worry about a haircut. How like you just would get it cut and then that's all you needed to do. Then you put a hat on.
I feel like some people get their haircut specifically knowing that they're gonna wear a hat so that it flips out in a certain way. Like I was with Chris Christensen yesterday, and I literally had this thought. I'm like, I've never seen this guy without a hat. And then he has like a hair flip, not just in the
That is
back where your hair's long. It's like he grows it long on the side so that it can flip out in front of his ear because that's now his look.
You know what I want? I want Matt Parker to publicly make fun of Chris Christensen for his hair, and then Chris Christensen really snap back.
Three-way feud.
Yep.
Uh, by the way, in reference to your haircut dilemma, I specifically wait to get my hair cut in different countries.
Well, here, I mean, maybe I'm just like have PTSD. I didn't get a cut. Did I? I might have. I got my hair cut in Syria. Uh, and it was bad. But then my buddy got his haircut in Syria and also got it styled accidentally. Like he just said yes when they said, "Can we style it?" Uh, and it was so shocking. You know, when you know your buddy and you've seen your buddy and you look at your buddy, and then your buddy comes out looking like a freak. And like I think that PTSD is what I feel if I go into a French salon. I'm gonna come out looking like I walked out of Syria.
Well, I've gotten haircuts in India, Sicily, Central America for sure. Um, and it's been mixed bag of reviews, but I guess I don't have the same stylist that I go to here anyways. I always have kind of a random hairstylist cut my hair. So it really doesn't matter, but it's now become a fun game for me. Like, how many countries can I add to this? So if I need a haircut, but it's like leading up to a trip and I don't have time to get to the place to get it
Then
cut,
you
I'm
get
like,
it.
who cares? I'll just get it done when I'm there.
Okay, I'm gonna get a haircut here on the island of Maui, and we're gonna see. I'll do before and after photos, and we can post them to surfsplendor.com.
Do a vlog about it. Chaz
Yeah,
Smith
I will.
hates surfing.
And haircuts.
Um, Final Bear Lanah is just in relation to Ken Bradshaw's uh, lifestyle choice, marrying a woman half your age.
Man, uh, I'm gonna say no. I'm just gonna go ahead and say no. Like the I feel there's some like nice synergy with marrying someone near your own age. You are like, you appreciate the same things, you have the same reference points to the past, more or less, right? Like all of these things, I think, become more and more valuable the longer you're married to somebody.
Yeah,
Where
that's true.
like you understand the same things and you're on the same path, right? Like I cannot imagine at this point uh being married to somebody half my age and trying to think like, oh man, you're sitting there watching YouTube in bed where well, you're like, and then like I have an 11-year-old daughter, right? I get enough of looking over her shoulder, trying to wrap my brain around and not being critical or negative about it, but trying like the other day she was watching whatever YouTube, you know, kids working real hard, long days, has had stinking what, 2 days off in the last one, two, three, four, 2 days off in the last 4 weeks, and both of those were international travel days.
Okay.
So has literally had zero time off. Uh, and so when she kicks back after ballet, sometimes throws on the YouTube, I'll, oftentimes like, don't fry your brain. This time I'm like, hey, fry that brain. But
Yeah.
and then sitting over her shoulder trying to figure it out, right? Like, I can't imagine if that was my wife. If I was like, you're whoa, man,
I
YouTube? Because it's not just like whatever crap Lauren watches is in your wheelhouse of
yeah.
understanding. She
Yeah.
watches like bad, whatever. Does she
Yeah.
watch bad reality? Whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Last night it was So You Think You Can Dance.
exactly. But you
Yeah.
understand that. I understand that. Like, that is
Yeah.
part of my, I understand reality television. That's in our purview. Like I can't imagine trying to get, but maybe it keeps you young. Maybe Ken Bradshaw is 39.
That was the argument that we made 30 minutes ago, which I stand by, is like it will keep you young, but the intellectual component that you're talking about, I can't get past.
Yeah,
And especially for you and I who are in our 40s thinking about marrying somebody in their 20s, like I
20s.
interact with 20-year-olds. There is a very, very limited interaction that we can have. It is
Yeah.
like very shallow.
Yes.
And and it's fine, but there's zero way that you'd be able to build a meaningful life, that I would be able to build a meaningful life. But I wonder if that actually, you said it matters more as you get older. I wonder if in a different way it matters less when you get older. So 40-year-old marrying a 20-year-old, huge disparity. 60-year-old marrying a 30-year-old, little less disparity. But then it starts to get physiological because once you go 70 marrying a
40.
35-year-old,
Yeah.
35-year-old woman is in her peak
Yes.
prime, like peak female everything.
70, you're
And
done.
70-year-old dude is on the downside by a long slot,
Yeah, I know. I mean, I just don't see how it works well for anyone, to be honest. And
half is
for
a
the,
lot.
for those who are in the autumn spring relationships or whatever they're called, like I salute you. I just can't ever imagine doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it works for some clearly.
Yeah,
I can't wrap my brain around it personally for me.
apparently it works for Kelly Slater.
What's the age difference there?
It's got to be at least 20 years.
You think? Well,
Yeah, I
Kelly,
think.
no. Well, yeah, maybe you're
Yeah,
right. Kelly's 52, so she's early
yeah, it's
30s, mid 30s.
probably early mid 30s. It's probably a 20-year gapper,
Interesting. I never considered that component of their relationship before.
but it's true.
Yeah, weird.
But I also think that like when you're a Kelly, when you're some of these dudes, I feel you're not normal anyway if you're Kelly. Like, so there's no, it's not like you have a normal reference point to anything. You're just a total weird freak. And so you could marry a 80-year-old or a 8-year-old and be like, understand.
Well, also
Not that Kelly
physically,
Slater should marry an 8-year-old, but
well, physically though, him and Ken Bradshaw both are almost youthfully, eternally youthful.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then there's that going for them. That kind of narrows the divide a little bit, but whatever.